my queen, my queen. Oh, she, oh, she. Beautiful, wonderfully made. She's heaven's angel, so strong, even in struggle, yeah. When life comes like a storm from every angle, she rises above it all, the backbone of every home. Nothing compares to all she do. The true meaning of every family. She's the glue. Yeah. Where would we be without you? You brought us Martin, Malcolm, and Obama. Yeah, and Jesus too. Oh, she's sophisticated, strong, simply amazing, humble, honest, and helpful, educated, ebony, eccentric, empowering. She's a queen, she's a queen. You better treat her like a queen. Oh, oh, Her strength is amazing. Life inside, 9 months she's carrying. Back to work, cause the family she's carrying. Society don't give her just due, but she prevails and stands tall. A champion, a true woman. But nothing compares to all she do. Yeah, the true meaning of every family. She's the glue. Yeah, oh. And where would we be without you? Yeah, you brought us Martin, Malcolm, and Obama, and Jesus too.
Hello and welcome to Let's Talk with Bishop R.C. Blakes. R.C. is an author, empowerment teacher, and the proud pastor of the New Home Ministries of New Orleans, Louisiana, and Houston, Texas. His message circles the globe. His conversational and candid approach to challenging content makes him a relevant voice to all generations. Get ready for a life-changing transformational conversation.
Well, hello. This is R.C. Blakes, and I am thoroughly excited about being able to share with you again today. Invite some people to come in. Invite your sisters, your friends, your husbands, even your co-workers. Invite some folk to come in today to be a part of our conversation. I want to drop some relational wisdom on you. And this is directed towards the women, of course, but there's also some wisdom in this particular conversation relative to men, young men that are trying to figure out how to attract and maintain a relationship with a high value, queen conscious, feminine woman. But it's really directed at helping women to understand something that I think a lot of you are missing. The world throws at you, you should be a feminine woman, toxic masculinity, or toxic men, should I say, throw at you. You should be a feminine woman, as if there's some switch that you hit in a relationship that automatically turns on your feminine. The reality is this: when you are in a relationship as a woman, the man you are with is probably more responsible for activating your feminine capacity. You see, you can have capacity that's not activated. Like right now, I have a sink across the way from me here, and water. I have water that is accessible. But it's not until the water's not going to flow just on its own unless there's a serious problem. The water is not going to flow until I activate the handle and start the stream. Well, when a woman is in a relationship with a man, she has a feminine capacity. Femininity is her essence. But it is the quality of the man she's with. It's the knowledge of the man, or the knowledge that the man possesses of her, and the man's willingness to be everything he needs to be in her life that actually taps into the feminine capacity. So while you're sitting here and you're thinking that there's something wrong with me as a woman, because I should be more feminine, the reality is a lot of times you just don't have the kind of man that allows you to actually tap into your feminine capacity. So this lesson is also going to help women to kind of understand the kind of man that is going to be necessary for you to be able to be the best feminine version of yourself. Now, femininity is, again, the essence of every woman. Femininity is the essence of every woman. Femininity is like, here it is. Femininity is like a seed. The potential is contained in a seed, but the seed must germinate. Every woman is like a seed of femininity, but the seed must germinate. Now, I looked up a definition of germinate, and it means to begin to grow or develop, usually referring to the process by which a plant begins to grow from a seed. When a seed germinates, it sprouts and starts to send out roots and shoots, eventually becoming a new plant. Germination, here it is triggered by the right combination of water, warmth, and oxygen, which activate the seed's internal growth process. The seed has been coded by the Almighty to produce an oak tree, to produce an apple tree, an orange tree, a banana tree. But if the seed is never in an environment where it may germinate, the seed will die with potential that has never been actualized. Every woman has feminine capacity. When she's in a relationship, that man has as much of a responsibility to the germination of that femininity as does the woman, maybe even more. So a woman's femininity is a divine potential within her that requires conditions and circumstances to bring it forth. So if you as a brother, excuse me, if you're looking at your woman and saying, you're not feminine enough, you have to understand that you are, as a man, you are the soil that your woman's feminine capacity is to germinate in. So if Lisa is not feminine enough, I don't need to bash Lisa. I need to look inwardly as her man and figure out, now, what is it that I need to add to the environment of our relationship to make the germination of her femininity possible? Because when a woman is in a relationship, and I keep saying in a relationship because there are rules for the manifestation of femininity in a relationship when a woman is in a relationship, versus there are rules for a woman's manifestation of femininity when she's single. When a woman is single, she's left to herself and the creator. She has to create her own climate, her own environment, and she may produce femininity, in her own way. But when a woman comes into the context of a relationship, it means that she is connected to another, and the man that she's in relationship with has a responsibility to create the climate for her femininity to thrive. But when a woman is in a relationship, the quality of her man will have an undeniable impact on her ability to produce the fruit of femininity consistently. If you go to Deuteronomy chapter 24 and verse 5, just talking about the responsibility that we have as men to empower our women to produce femininity consistently. In Deuteronomy 24 and 5, it reads like this: when a man hath taken a new wife, he shall not go out to war, neither shall he be charged with any business, but he shall be free at home 1 year, and shall cheer up his wife which he hath taken. I love this text, but a lot of times it's misunderstood. This text is an admonishment to young men to learn how to bring the best out of their new wives. Now, cheering his woman up is not a reference to making her happy, because, I'm a firm believer that no one can make you happy. You cannot make anyone else happy. However, a person can aid you in your happiness. And it is the responsibility of a man to aid his woman in her happiness, and vice versa. The responsibility of a woman is to aid her man in his happiness. But when it talks about cheering his woman up, it's talking about him learning to set an environment for her to be in her best state, which is what? Feminine. The best state for a woman is feminine. I hear the question asked all the time on social media. Guys are asking women the question, what do you bring to a relationship? The reality is the answer for any grown man, grown heterosexual man, is just bring femininity. That's all you got to bring. Bring femininity. See, if you bring femininity, you're going to bring dignity, you're going to bring character, you're going to bring loyalty, you're going to bring faithfulness, fidelity, or whatever you want to call it. You're going to bring all of those things, because all of those things are capsulized in this thing called femininity. So when the Bible is admonishing the young man to stay at home and learn how to cheer his wife up, it's admonishing him to learn how to put her in her best state, which is feminine. When she is in her best state, she then empowers the man. That's why all a woman got to bring to a grown man is femininity. Just bring the best version of yourself. Now, you may be a boss, you may be a CEO, you may be a this or that, all that's fine. But at the top of that list for a grown man is femininity, because when a man is connected to a feminine woman has a unique way of bringing the best out of the man. Men become their best versions in the care of feminine women. Now, in a relationship, a woman cannot be expected to exist totally in her feminine if certain conditions are not met. No more than a seed can sprout without soil, without water, without sun. A woman's man produces the climate for her to dwell in her femininity. He produces the climate for her to dwell in her femininity. Yeah. And see, you have, nobody's told you this, so you're sitting around here trying to figure out, why am I so masculine and all of this kind of thing. The reality is, when you're in a relationship, if you have the right kind of man sets the kind of climate that you just naturally shift into your femininity. Everybody's barking about, talk to the women about submitting. They ought to submit. Well, it's not submission if somebody makes you do it, right? That's domination. And the Bible never mentions domination. It mentions submission. And submission is something that a woman is to do willingly. Why would she do it willingly? It's because the man has produced such a climate that her essence comes forth. She naturally, see, when a man honors a woman, the natural response is for the woman to submit to the man. It's not, because it's the man that has to produce the climate for her to dwell in her femininity. So don't let men back you into a corner and make you feel like you're less than a woman because you walking in this masculinity, and I'm tired of this masculinity. Well, it just means that you don't have the right man. Oh, let me not say that. 1 Peter 3:7 says, likewise, husbands, dwell with them according to knowledge, giving honor unto the wife as unto the weaker vessel, and as being heirs together of the grace of life, that your prayers be not hindered. And I often look at that thing, weaker vessel, and of course it means women are typically physically weaker than men. But, and this is just me, let's not call this Bible. This is just my opinion. I also believe that the woman is called the weaker vessel because the man is the head of the wife, which means the wife follows the lead of the man. So there are certain things that the man has to empower the woman to do or to become. If he does not empower her, she does not have the power to be or to do. So it makes her weaker in the equation of marriage, or in the equation of marriage. You know, if he's not grown to that level, she can't drag him to that level. She's weaker in that sense. So now all of that was introduction. Now let's get into it. I think I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 points that I want to go through quickly relative to why a woman needs, or things that have to be in place in a relationship for a woman to function consistently in her feminine. If these things are not in place in your relationship, you're going to vacillate in and out of, from masculine to feminine, you see, because masculine, your feminine is your being energy as a woman. You're supposed to just be feminine. Masculine energy is the doing energy. It's what men walk in to provide, to protect, to defend, to do all of these things. But when a man is not present to do certain things, a woman is as capable of stepping up and doing certain things as a man. And so if a man is not present, if she's single, she'll have to move in and out of masculine to feminine. Or if she is married, but a man is not showing up and fulfilling his role, even inside of the marriage, she'll move from feminine to masculine. For a woman to rest in her feminine mostly, these things are going to have to be in place in the relationship. Number one, she's going to have a masculine man. She's going to have a masculine man. Now, you may be attracted to him. He may be your type. He may be sexy and all of these other things. But you know what? The eyes you look at a man with when you're single are different than the eyes you look at a man with when you're married, and now he has to meet certain responsibilities, and your focus is off of the sexual. Your focus is off of the superficial. It's off of the aesthetics. Now you're looking for substance. You see, when you're single, when you're talking about your type, you're talking about style. But when you get married and your life is on the line and you have a covenant and you're literally tied to this person and your children are depending on this person, now you're looking for, so you were looking for style, now you're looking for substance. And a lot of men that are your type, but because you've not done the work to really think or look deeper, these are not necessarily masculine men. And if you are going to be fulfilled in a relationship, oh my, I mean to do that with this light. Trust me, you are going to have a masculine man. Because from the very beginning, femininity has been the product of active masculinity. And this is a reference to masculinity in the sense of taking responsibility, providing and protecting. You know, because I looked up a definition of masculinity. They talk about muscles and being strong and a whole lot of stuff that plays into certain, dimensions of manhood, masculinity. But what I'm talking about is the internal masculinity, the masculine soul, where a man has a sense of responsibility, where he's the provider. He's not sitting there talking about 50-50 and all this kind of stuff. He telling you it's your turn to pay the bill and all of this kind of stuff, where a man has a mind to protect. If you're going to stay in your feminine, you're going to have this kind of masculine man. A feminine woman must have a man she can count on. You can't stay in your feminine if you got a man that's subject to walk off the job because they hurt his feelings. I left that job because they hurt my feelings. They talked to me so bad. I left that job. He got you, he got all these children in the house, and he's sitting up talking about he left this job. And you don't know when he gonna come home talk about it. He got to find him a new gig. That's not a masculine man. In the meantime, you can hold us down. See, a masculine man don't make no difference how much money you make. He don't care nothing about your money. He really doesn't. He's not marrying you for your money. He's not counting on your money. He's not depending on your money. You know, his plan is even when y'all get married, if he ain't there now, his plan is to work his vision to a point where he don't need none of your money to survive as a family. That your money, can take and be invested. You can do certain things for yourself, the kids, or whatever. But a masculine man's plan is to provide, meet all of the responsibilities, and put you in a position where you don't have to worry about nothing but just staying in your feminine. Now, Colossians chapter 3, verses 18 and 19 says, "Wives, submit yourselves unto your own husbands as it is fit in the Lord. Husbands, love your wives and be not bitter against them." Now, when the text says, "Wives, submit," you have to understand this. Submission is the ultimate expression of femininity. When a woman submits, she is pleased, she is comfortable, she feels safe, she feels confident. The woman naturally submits to a man that creates a space for her femininity to germinate. So it says, "Wives, submit yourselves unto your own husbands." Now also notice it says submit to what? To who? Husbands, not boyfriends. Not boyfriends. I know you got boyfriends out here trying to tell you about submit to them. But you can't submit to a man that has not made a commitment to you. No. Now you can be agreeable, you can compromise certain things and all of that. But as a woman, you can't be out here submitting to every little man that's around here dating you. Talking about, submit to me. No. Before a woman submit to a man, he has to be a husband. And a husband is a man that has made a commitment to the woman to make her wife for life. It is a commitment of fidelity. It is a commitment of responsibility. It is a commitment to protect, to provide. This word husband, when it says wives submit to your own husbands, this word is derived from two words. Those two words are house band. You take the two and put them together, you come up with husband. A husband is a masculine man that can hold it together. His woman does not have to be concerned or worried about how things are going to move forward, how things are going to work. She don't have to sit up all night stressing because she has a husband, a house band. My father has been gone, transitioned, deceased 10 years, and my father is still taking care of my mother. Though she has two amazing sons, if I must say so myself, that take care of her. Mom spends nothing. Two sons that take care of her. Her husband left her in a position, her house band that she submitted to for 50 years, left her in a position that she would never have to ask anybody for anything. He's taking care of her even in his death. So if you're going to be able to relax in your feminine, and anybody that's ever met my mother can attest to the fact my mother is like the epitome of femininity, but she always had a man that covered her. She always had a man that provided for her, that protected her. They weren't always rich. They grew up together. They came up together. You know what I'm saying? But he always held her down. He was always a masculine man. And if a woman is going to be able to stay in her femininity consistently in the context of a relationship, the man is going to have to be masculine. Now, that's for some of you brothers. You know, you got to do some deeper work on in terms of figuring out what does it mean to be a masculine man. That don't mean beating your chest like King Kong. Masculinity is not running around here toxically sleeping with a million different women. Another lesson for another day. Point number 2, there's going to have to be security. When you look at Adam and Eve, Adam provided a place of security for Eve. When God brought Eve to Adam, he was a grown man, which means he could defend her. He had a domicile or somewhere for her to live, which means he could house her. And she was he had means. God gave him means, which means that he had a house, which means that she was secure in Adam's care. He had resources. She was secure in Adam's care. He was a grown man. He could defend. She was secure in Adam's care. If you do not feel secure with a man, you're fooling yourself to try to push that to the altar. As a woman, if you are not secure, you don't feel a sense of security with a man, you are fooling yourself to try to push that to the altar. A woman eventually resents a man she does not feel safe with. For a woman to consistently manifest femininity, she requires an atmosphere of security. Ephesians chapter 5 and 23 says, "For the husband is the head of the wife, even as Christ is the head of the church." And here it is. And he is the Savior of the body. So for a woman to dwell in her feminine in the context of a relationship with a man, she needs a man she believes would save her if she needed it. Just like Jesus saved the church. A woman in the natural sense needs a man that in the back and in the front of her mind, she knows if I need saving, he's coming. Dun, 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 dun. If you got to scratch your head and wonder if he's going to show up, it's going to be hard for you to stay in your feminine. Why? Because when masculine is not present, feminine will step into that role. Wherever a man diminishes or decreases in terms of his masculine, his woman will naturally ascend into that particular role. And if a woman has to ascend into the place of securing herself, defending herself, eventually she's going to disrespect that man because she won't really have any respect for him. Listen to what Matthew chapter 12 and verse 29 in the Passion Translation. Listen how it reads. Who would dare enter the house of a mighty man and steal his property? First, he must be overpowered and tied up by one who is stronger than he. Then his entire house can be plundered. Now, what it's talking about here, you read the full context, it's talking about demonic powers and what have you. But the thing I want you to pull out of it, he asked the question, who would dare enter the house of a mighty man and steal his property? A woman has to know that her man is the strong man of their address. That if somebody comes to this house, I have a strong man that's going to meet them at the door, the window, the chimney, wherever they desire to come in. I got a strong man that's going to meet them. If she's not secure in this, her femininity is going to flash on and off, because now she's worried about safety. Third thing that's going to have to be present in the relationship of a woman that is able to rest in her femininity is that there's going to have to be the sense of purpose. Purpose. When God gave Eve to Adam, Adam had a purpose for Eve to be in his life. A woman that lives in her feminine has a sense of purpose in her man's life. When a woman has no purpose, she disconnects. Feminine energy is best utilized and then replenished. Woman comes with offerings. A man has to have purpose for those offerings to be rendered, and then he replenishes her. If a man does not give her a reason to be in his life, he will spoil her feminine production. It will be replaced with frustration and anxiousness. A woman that loves a man has to have a role in his life. You see, if you got a man and you talking about you want to marry the man, and you know you don't want to play no role in the man's life, you just probably looking for a wedding. You just looking for a status. You don't really love this man. Because when a woman loves a man, it is very important for her to play a role in this man's life. This is why women that really love men don't sit around having all these arguments about helping a man. Now, you can't help a man get a purpose. You can't help a man get a vision. You can't help a man get a grind. You can't help a man get off his behind. He got to bring all of that grown man stuff to the table. But if a man coming with a vision, a grind, and all of this other stuff, and he out here hustling, a woman that loves him is going to find a way to help him. Because for a woman to feel like a woman in a man's life, she has to have a purpose in that man's life. That man cannot just, go out here and consistently grow and achieve, and she has no role. He's spending more time on the phone with assistants and secretaries, than he is his woman. She knows nothing about his business. All she's doing is just reaping the financial benefits of it. That's not the best way to put a woman in a position where she can stay in her relaxed feminine. That Proverbs 31 woman, she was doing a whole lot of different things for herself, but she also played a major role in her husband's life, to the point that he praised her and he adored her. If you look in Genesis 2:18, it says, "And the Lord God said, it is not good that the man should be alone. I will make him an helpmeet for him." Eve had a specific purpose in Adam's life before she even entered his life. If you look in 1 Corinthians 11, 7 through 9, it says, "For man indeed ought not to cover his head, for as much as he is the image and glory of God. But the woman is the glory of the man. For the man is not of the woman, but the woman of the man. Neither was the man created for the woman, but the woman for the man." The woman has a specific purpose in the man's life. It was God that said, "It's not good for you to be alone, Adam. I'm going to make you an helpmeet." There's somebody that has to fit into your life. There's a purpose partner that I'm going to create for you. And if a woman is going to function consistently in her feminine energy in the context of a relationship, she's going to have a sense of purpose in a man's life. If a man does not have a purpose for a woman, he does not need a woman. If a woman does not have a purpose in a man's life, she does not need to be in his life. It will become frustration and anxiety. And then number 4, you're going to have affirmation. If a man is not emotionally intelligent enough to affirm you, it doesn't matter how much self-esteem you have, doesn't matter, how strong of a woman you are, how much of a boss chick you are, you're going to have a man that affirms you. A man that just, for no reason, just pulls you to the side, tells you how great you are, how much he loves you, how beautiful you are. You're going to have a man that affirms you. The first thing Adam did with Eve when he met her was he affirmed her. He said, you're a woman, you're taken out of me. You know, what was he saying to her? You're my equivalent with a womb. You're a woman. You're my partner. Now, if you look in Proverbs 31:28, going back to that Proverbs 31 woman, that virtuous woman, it says in Proverbs 31:28, her children rise up and call her blessed. Her husband also, and he praises her. If a man can't speak wonderful things to you, how far can you really go with that? Because a woman needs those words of affirmation. A woman's self-esteem should be grounded and founded in her, ideally, in her relationship with her natural father. The natural fathers should affirm and validate the daughters. When the daughters leave the care of the fathers and transition into the hands of husbands, the husbands should then take up the role that the fathers played in terms of constantly pouring into the esteem of his wife. The Bible says that her husband praised her, he blessed her, and he praised her. If you're going to walk in your femininity, if you're going to be able to stay in your femininity, you see, because femininity cannot be in an environment where it cannot thrive, should I say, in an environment where you're wondering if a person loves you, you're wondering if a person still views you as attractive. These are the thoughts that go through the minds of women, and only her man can really satisfy that. It becomes quite a complex and perplexing situation when a woman leaves her home and she hears all of the things she should have heard from her husband from other men in the street. Because if you're going to be able to rest in your femininity in the context of a relationship, you're going to have an environment where your husband affirms you. In Ephesians chapter 5, verses 25 to 28, it says, "Husbands, love your wives, just as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her, to make her holy, cleansing her by the washing with water through the word, and to present her to himself as a radiant church." Anything that's not right about your woman, you have the power to speak life into that area and to even bring perfection to it. Without stain or wrinkles or any other blemish, but holy and blameless. In this same way, husbands ought to love their wives as their own bodies. He who loves his wife loves himself. Listen to what Colossians 3:19 says. Husbands, love your wives and do not be harsh with them. And I hear some say, "Oh, I'm never harsh," but quite honestly, the harshest thing we can do as men many times is to be silent. Your woman, I'll give you an example. Your woman just spent an hour and a half in the mirror trying to put herself together, trying to look good, for you. Y'all going to a certain function or whatever, and you have absolutely nothing to say about the way she looks. And then she walks into the event and every man in the room is saying, "Oh, how beautiful you are, Mrs. So-and-so. Oh, you're so beautiful tonight." And she's heard not one word from you. That's being harsh, brother. When's the last time your woman heard you say, "I love you, I appreciate you. You're a great mother, you're a great wife, you're a great lover"? When's the last time she heard you say that? Well, if you want your woman to be able to stay in her femininity, you're going to have to create a culture of affirmation, where you affirm your woman all of the time. If we affirmed our women as much as we affirm our daughters, I'll leave that right there. Number 5 is, if a woman is going to be able to stay in her feminine, it's going to have to be an environment of accountability. Truly feminine women need a man that's going to lead by the standard and then hold her accountable to the standard. In other words, you're going to live your life as a man, you're going to live your life above board. But then you're going to also hold your woman accountable to the standard. A woman will never remain in her feminine with a man that isn't man enough to hold her accountable. So if you're in a situation as a woman with a man that's so enamored with you that he just lets you do whatever you want to do, and you know he ain't gonna say nothing about it, you're not gonna be able to stay in your feminine. That's not a man you're going to be able to be attracted to for the rest of your life. You see, while y'all talk about type, there's a season and a time when your man and you alike are going to change physically. And your type won't necessarily be the external part of the man. It's going to be the internal part of the man. And if you know you got a little weak man that you can just run over and he's never going to hold you accountable, you're not going to be able to stay in your feminine. It ain't going to happen. You just running around here, this little weak man, just using this man, taking his little money, and he just running behind you, thinking the way to, he never thought he'd have a woman like you and all this kind of stuff. And so he just running around letting you do whatever you want to do, and you just handling him like he's a child, and you and your girlfriends laughing about it. That ain't gonna last. That ain't gonna last. That ain't gonna last. That ain't gonna last. And bro, if you don't get a backbone, you'll never really have no healthy relationship with a quality woman. You'll never have a healthy relationship with a quality woman. Because a man with a little weak spine, you take a woman that's completely passive and you turn her into she'll find herself around here managing you and manipulating you and telling you when to get up and when to lay down. You got to be a man, and you got to have a man. If you really, as a woman, plan on staying in your feminine, you got to have a man that's going to hold you accountable. You can't just run around here and do whatever you want to do and got a man, you know he ain't going to never tell you nothing, so you stay out as long as you want, do what you want. Y'all come on by. Don't worry about him. Come on by. You know, the man that's trying to sleep got to go to work, and you and your girlfriends, and they're just laughing all loud. Don't worry about him. I got him. That's a joke. You will never stay in your feminine as a woman in a relationship with a man that won't hold you accountable. 1 Timothy 3, 4, and 5 says, one that ruleth well his own house, talking about the qualifications of elders, having his children in subjection with all gravity. For if a man know not how to rule his own house, how shall he take care of the church of God? If he's not a man that holds his house accountable, how can he hold the church accountable? And any man that will empower a woman to stay in her feminine is a man that's going to have enough backbone to hold his woman accountable. When it says rule, it doesn't mean to dominate or to rule over as a superior, but it means to know your role as a man and to make certain that everybody is walking according. Okay, number 6, if you're going to be able to stay in your feminine, it's going to have to be a relationship or a climate of progress. Women need progress. Women have to see that we're moving from here to here to here. There's nothing that will disturb a woman's feminine energy like being in a relationship that looks like it's stuck. We're not making any progress. We've been here for the last 10 years, no progress. What happens when a man does not step into his role, his masculine role, and he falls off of his masculine role? A woman automatically assumes the position. She becomes masculine in that area. So if we're in a relationship where you say you had a vision for the family, but we're not making any progress, nor are you communicating anything, that's going to automatically pull the woman out of her feminine, because as long as she sees progress, she feels like you know what you're doing. When she does not see progress, now she's up all night trying to figure out now what's going on, and now she's devising plans to figure out how to get things jump-started. If you look in Luke chapter 13, verses 7 and 9, it says, 7 through 9, it says, then said he unto the dresser of his vineyard, Behold, these 3 years I come seeking fruit on this fig tree and find none. Cut it down, why cumbereth it the ground? And he answering said unto him, Lord, let it alone this year also, till I shall dig about it and fertilize it. And if it bear fruit, well, and if not, then after that thou shalt cut it down. A woman needs to see fruit. If a woman is going to stay in her feminine, she needs to see the fruit a man is producing. And then number 7, and finally, consistency. For a woman to stay in her feminine, there has to be consistency. A man can't be all over the place, wishy-washy, in and out. You got to be consistent. You know, we got to see consistency. Trust is built through consistency. Luke 9:62 says, and Jesus said unto him, no man having put his hand to the plow and looking back is fit for the kingdom of God. If you in and out, off and on, I can't deal with you. Even Jesus says that. So it is with a woman. If a man is inconsistent, she will never be able to relax and rest in her femininity. Now, there you have it. There you have it. Share this with somebody. Father, I thank you today for every word that was spoken. May it minister to the hearts of people all around the world. Bring insight, guidance, and clarity in Jesus' name. Now listen, go by my website, rcblakes.com. Sign up for my mailing list. Check out all of my online programs. Go to Amazon, pick up all of my books, including my newest book, Me, My Mind. Thank you for all of the gifts that you all consistently give to Lisa and I. And if you need counseling, look in the description. There's a link for BetterHelp Counseling. If you use that link, it'll afford you 10% off of the cost of counseling. And they in turn will make a deposit into RC Blake's Ministries. Now, I've enjoyed this time. I love you. I would spend a little more time with you, but I got somewhere I got to be. I love you. I thank God for you. You're on top. You're going higher. God has more in store for you, so we will see you at the top. But watch this. Like this message before you leave out of here. And then we're going to meet at the top. Love y'all. Have a great one.
We here at RC Blake's Ministries want to thank you for spending this time with us today. RC and Lisa are always honored to have you with us. Don't forget to reach out to us by visiting our website at www.rcblakes.com. While you're there, you may join our mailing list and receive a free download of The Laws of Manifesting Your Vision by RC Blakes. Also look at all of the online programs by RC. You may find all books written by RC and Lisa. Once again, all of us here at RC Blake's Ministries want to thank you from the bottom of our hearts. And as we always say, see you at the top.